Are we starting? I got a notification, but I don't see nothing. All right, now I got an ad coming first. All right, let's go. Hey guys, I hope all is well. Welcome to the first Truth Is live event. You guys hear me good? Can I see some truths in the chat? If you guys hear me good, please.
Yeah, I hear you, bro.
I'm seeing the chat actually. I want to see if they actually hear me. All right. How you guys doing today? I hope everybody is feeling good today. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about a few interesting topics, and I'm joined actually. Let me start by that. I'm joined by Taco, which was formerly Jay, now going as Taco. I'm joined by one of the members of my Discord, who's a very prominent member, who's always there in the chat, AK. And I'm also joined by one of the mods in the Discord, No Sheep Gang. And D is here as well.
Everybody.
You know, and today we're going to be talking about, we're going to start with the Glorilla, and we're going to be getting into a couple other topics. But definitely, let's begin with the Glorilla situation. We're going to answer some of you guys' questions in the chat as well. So, you know, if you guys have any questions you want me to see, you guys can ask them. The chat is going pretty quickly, so it might be a little hard, but we'll try to get as many of your questions in there. So let's start with the Glorilla situation. You know, recently there's been a lot going on with Glorilla. She's one of the artists that we saw blow up out of nowhere. And at least for me, I didn't see any backstory when it came to her before blowing up. She kind of had this one song and it blew up. She signed to Yo Gotti CMG, and then she was everywhere. It was, you know, it took off from there. Her career was mainstream. But then, you know, a couple days back, we see her performing at the Grammy Awards. And we all saw what the Grammy Awards was. It was clear as day. It was one of the most open satanic events in history. You know, I haven't seen anything like that in a very long time, at least not that open. And she was invited, something that normally does not happen. We usually don't see new celebrities get invited to the Grammys, and then let alone be invited to perform at the Grammys, because she performed at the Grammys. So we have Glorilla, who's this new upcoming artist, out of nowhere, one day to the next, invited to the Grammys. I don't think she had enough traction in that 1 year for her to be invited to the Grammys, if you ask me. But for some reason, she was invited. And then we start seeing the strange symbolism coming from Glorilla, which that's when I began to get concerned with it. You know, especially when we think about it like this. If a new artist comes out today, it usually takes about 2 years, 3 years for them to get to that level of being invited to the Grammys, of performing at the Grammys, unless they were the biggest artist of that year, which I don't think Glorilla was, arguably. But now, Glorilla is showing symbolism, the Masonic symbolism, covering one of her eyes, getting a Masonic tattoo. That's when things start to become, that's when things become strange and apparent that she might have taken the oath. But then, when we look recently, when we're hearing what just recently happened at one of her concerts, you have to add it all together, and you see exactly what's coming from her. You know, like, it's hard to deny. They're saying the situation that happened was a surge of some sort because they believe someone was in there letting go in the air and it caused everyone to run. But the police are reporting that during Glorilla's concert, they were checking they were checking for evidence of any weapons or anything being discharged, and they found nothing. So if they're saying that that's what caused everyone to surge, and the police that are doing the investigation can't even find proof of that, that starts to become strange. And it reminds me of the Travis Scott situation. Because the Travis Scott situation, there was 1,001 excuses on why it happened, except for, you know, why it really happened. So when you look at Glorilla's success now and you see what's going on, this is just the beginning. You know, she went and got this tattooed. She went and changed her Instagram icon page to show who she represents. And then this happens right after. And then we have to look at the imagery as well. Not the imagery, the symbolism as well. They're reporting that 3 people passed because of this incident. 3 people. You honestly, when you look at the situation, how is it, what was it that she could have been doing in her concert, in her show, that would have caused this much commotion in the crowd? Like, people, when they talk about Playboy Cardi concerts or shows and they talk about Little Uzi Vert's, I guess now, unfortunately, it's expected. But at a Glorilla concert, when, it's a bunch of women enjoying themselves, there might be a few guys there, but it's primarily women music. This is not something you expect. You guys, you get what I'm saying?
I definitely understand what you're saying. This is not the type of concert that you would go to and expect this type of commotion to break out at. And all of the stuff that, we've seen her do, she's gone from doing her performance, doing the one eye symbolism, and now getting this tattoo. The only thing we're waiting for is to see her music change, to see an agenda now being pushed in her music.
But I think that's already going on. I was researching for this video, and her latest song is vulgar and is completely going against every other thing she did before.
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, it's I don't want to say it because it's just something I'm not comfortable saying, but the last song title that she has up on YouTube, you guys can go see for yourself, is, just like it looks like what a Cardi B song would be. And that's not the vibe that I was getting from Glorilla when she came out.
Me neither. So it definitely looks like they are switching her agenda over.
Glorilla started off as this, like, almost like a tomboy artist. Like, she was definitely for women, but she also had men rocking with her. They liked her music, and her image showed like it wasn't really trying to be about her appearance or about her beauty. It was about her music. But now, like I'm saying, if you look at that last YouTube video that she put up, it speaks for itself. AK, what do you feel about the situation with Glorilla?
Hey man, I just feel like she's being a little I don't know. I don't feel any compassion or empathy for those people. Like, just looking at the basics, she couldn't even make a post for any of them or like acknowledge that it really happened. She just kind of continued on with her life. So just seeing little things like that just makes me look at her sideways.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even realize if she posted or didn't post regarding her fans. I saw one post that she said that she was deeply, saddened or whatever, but we're going to see the same amount of accountability like we saw with Travis Scott. Travis Scott, in my opinion, never took accountability. Like, he blamed everybody but himself. He made that one post where he looks like he was concerned or sad or whatever, but even in that post, he doesn't look like, he doesn't seem genuine. It came off like he was being dishonest and just trying to defend himself and really just trying to shift the blame. He started saying that he was a man of God and all this. But now when we look at Glorilla's situation, it's just when you connect the dots, it's not a coincidence. It's not. It's the same thing that happens with just about every artist that we've seen get the limelight. And it looks like Glorilla is the one that's been chosen. She's going to be the new Meg Thee Stallion, the new Cardi B. She's already being accepted by those artists. They're already inviting her to perform. They're already doing songs with her and merging her image and merging their agendas together. They're pushing Glorilla to that level. That's their goal. They want Glorilla to be the next Cardi B. They want Glorilla to be the next Meg Thee Stallion. And that's exactly why she's doing the Masonic symbolism. And it's always very interesting for me to see. People defend this. It's just imagery and it's just, but why didn't she get this tattoo before getting in the industry? Why is it that she went and got this tattoo after she became a celebrity and after people started knowing her name, after she was in certain circles? That right there speaks for itself. Why is it that once you make it to that level, now you want to go get the Masonic tattoo and now you want to go show the one eye symbolism? Something that you weren't doing before. And then when people asked them about it, like Glorilla was questioned and she just went on a rant. She was upset. She was saying, oh, you guys are accusing me of being in the Illuminati. That's another thing. They used the Illuminati to basically hide themselves when we're accusing you of being a Masonic puppet. You're a Masonic puppet. You're showing Freemasonic symbolism, and the record label you're signed to are ran by Masons. So it all speaks for itself. That's really what I see from Glorilla, and I see her going, her career going to the next level. And it's strange because if we remember the Grammy video I did a second episode on the Grammy video, and I covered Madonna and Glorilla. Interesting enough, because we're going to be talking about Madonna in this video as well. I mean, in this live event as well. In that video with Glorilla, I said that something was going to happen with Glorilla because of the fact that she showed that symbolism and then went on to perform at the Grammys. I already knew something was going to happen with her. And if you guys go back to that video, you guys will see for yourself. I said it. And this is before this incident happened with the concert. And it's sad that it had to be that it had to be innocent people, but it was already written. Like, they already showed us this was their next step. This was what they're pushing her up to be. And it's the same routine every single time. I want to move on now. The next thing I want to actually talk about is the Drake situation with the Triple X Tentacion. We've been covering this for a while now. We've been talking about this. We've done several videos on this. But what I just saw today was very interesting. I was on The Truth Is Instagram page, and I was recommended a post by DJ Academics regarding Drake. And it was a post where Drake says, sorry, let me bring it up. Give me 1 second. Drake says, "A lot of them boys you entertain wouldn't be here if it wasn't for me. So don't forget to wish me a happy Father's Day, June 18th." And in the picture, we can see Drake doing the one eye symbolism. He's there with the dog covering one of his eyes. But most importantly, what we see is the date, June 18th. I'm pretty sure some of you in the chat already know what happened on June 18th. I'm pretty sure some of you remember what happened on that tragic day, June 18th, in Florida. I think Drake is to the point where he doesn't even care anymore. He doesn't feel like he's gonna face any consequences for this. June 18th is the day Triple X Tentacion passed. He is referring to Father's Day in March. This post has nothing to do with Father's Day, but has everything to do with dissing Triple X Tentacion once again. Drake is not letting up. It doesn't matter that he's in the headlines for being accused of this. He knows what he's doing. He's being strategic every single time. This is what he does. You understand? And it's at this point, it's sickening. People would argue with me about this, and they say that they believe Drake had nothing to do with this. Then why does Drake keep implying that he did? You know?
Yeah, you can definitely see how superior he feels. Like, he feels like he is super untouchable. He is legitimately taunting this kid, claiming that he had nothing to do with it. But every chance that he gets, he is throwing shots at this kid. And on top of that, we already know the connection that was made during the whole entire court case. What is the reason of connecting him if he, quote unquote, had nothing to do with it?
It's just crazy to me, man. Drake wants people to think he has something to do with it 1 second so he can get the credit, and then he wants people to think that he didn't at the same time. But he's the one throwing out the shots. He's the one putting the imagery out there that he did it. And then we all know, of course, like I see in the chat, people are saying that Drake is not going to go to jail for this. Of course he's not going to go to jail for this. How is he going to go? We're talking about Drake, and the way that they're even approaching this, it's like, what are they going to do to Drake? You understand? And I know that, of course, that if the law wanted to take Drake down for this, they could, but they don't want to. You understand? This is one of the biggest cash cows. This is one of the biggest puppets with the most manipulation in the industry, the most pull. They're not going to get rid of their own person. They're not going to get rid of their own machine that they can use to manipulate the masses. It just doesn't make any sense,
Definitely. And in a way, I feel like he thinks he's untouchable, and that's why he keeps on making these, throwing these shots. It's like laughing at us. Like, yeah, I'm not going to get touched for doing this. You guys can keep saying that I did it. He knows in a way that he may have had something to do with it, and he keeps on, mocking and mocking, knowing that he is not going to get touched. They're not going to do nothing to him. They took him to the court, but we haven't heard nothing else about it. Since that one little incident came up, nothing else has been said, and he just has gone on doing what he has done, and now he chooses to do this and use that date. And like you said, we're not even close to Father's Day. We have Mother's Day to come up before Father's Day even comes.
Sako, when you saw this post, what you felt about it?
It was
You there,
definitely
Taco?
yeah, it's definitely a subliminal shot. He's
How
coming
about
from
you, AK?
Man, when I saw that, and this really it made me think about his ego. Like, how can you be that egotistical? Like, okay, he came for your mom, but I mean, you're sending shots even after he's, departed, and you just have no empathy. You want to rub it in your fans' faces that, yeah, I'm responsible for this. I'm hard like that. I'm tough. It's kind of
Yeah,
corny to me.
it is very corny, but think about it. We're talking about Drake. Drake is an actor. You understand? Drake has never been in any real situation, possibly his entire life. He was a part of Degrassi since a child, and the way he even got a part of Degrassi was because he grew up in a great community, and he was in a great school, and one of his friends, his father just so happened to work for the production team, so they got him on the show just like that. So we're talking about a very privileged person who's had his way his entire life, and who grew up to be this ultra super successful star that is spoiled in every way now. So his ego, his way of his behavior, it's matching exactly his upbringing. This is this kid who's always gotten what he wanted, never had to really go through anything, and he doesn't feel any accountability for what he does. So him going at Triple X the way he does and then hiding his hands, it's just like you said, it's just for his fans, I don't even would say for his fans, I'll say it's more for like the industry. I feel like it's a way for the industry to look at Drake as this new, top guy, as though someone that you should respect, someone that you don't want nothing done to, something that someone you wouldn't want to cross. That's what I get from Drake doing this. And it's interesting because there's so much people that defend Drake about this, but then no one could give us a reason on why Drake is throwing so many shots at X. What's the actual purpose? And I also like when we talk about X, we have to remember the fact that X himself said that Drake would do something to him. And then we also got to remember that X spoke about, messing with Baphomet and doing sacrifices in his songs. There was obviously something spiritual going on there, for sure. Like it wasn't just a battle between him and Drake, because X references that spiritual battle. But there was definitely tension between Drake and X. And we know that all these people are in the same system, but it doesn't mean they're all going to respect each other. They're all working in the same job. They're all working in the same organization, but it doesn't mean that they all respect each and every one and that they won't do stuff to each other. We see it happen all the time. People in the same gangs, they end up having disagreements and problems, and they go at it with each other. And that's what I believe happened here. Drake is a much bigger artist than X, way much bigger artist than X, and he doesn't need permission or anything to get someone like X out of the way, you know?
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, I hear you now. You have anything to add,
Yeah,
Taco?
I mean, Drake just makes too much money, and he plays his role. He stays in his lane. He does what he's told. So ain't nothing gonna happen to him that they don't want to happen to him. To be honest.
Very true. Very true. Well, now let's actually move on now. The next thing I wanted to talk about was the Bad Bunny and Kendall situation. This is another one of those relationships that is obviously a Hollywood relationship. It is a Hollywood relationship. It is done to garner attention, to make people pay attention, and to make more money. We've seen this with I honestly felt the first time I saw Kanye West and Kim Kardashian, that's what I felt 100%. I felt like that was a money play. It was a set up relationship. The same thing with Jay-Z and Beyonce. I don't think these people are in true relationships. What, AK and Taco, do you think that these Hollywood relationships are real?
Nah, I feel like it's superficial, just like how you would think of Hollywood. It's fake, superficial. Everyone, really just idolizes themselves. But if you make them look even better, then sure, you can stand next to me, type of thing. I think that's what they're on.
Taco, they're saying for you to put your mic up a bit. Maybe raise your gain up.
There you go. Can you hear me now?
Chad, does he sound better? We're gonna be answering some of you guys' questions soon.
But about the relationship thing, I mean, a lot of these relationships are about money, in my opinion. They're set up in a certain way so that
You still sound kind of low.
still
Put
kind
your
of low.
mic up a little. Yeah,
How's that better?
that's a lot better.
A lot of these relationships, they're pre-negotiated, in my opinion. It's all about money and what's going to get the best ratings, what's going to get the people talking the most, in my opinion. Because I mean, I think when you're in that industry, you sign those contracts to do the things you got to do. You give up those rights. You know what I mean?
Definitely. And then a lot of this stuff is predetermined. It's Hollywood, you know? So it's we have to remember these are celebrities. We know that they're not really spending time with each other. A relationship consists of two people together, you know, loving each other, being with each other. But these are celebrities who never are going to actually see each other. They might see each other to do a photo shoot, but then one of them is touring the other side of the world and the other one is touring the other side of the world, and they'll never really meet up. So it's not really a relationship. It's not like they're together. It's more like a business. It's more like a movie, a show, a TV. It makes people they start making names for them. They check back in, and then after a while, when it starts to die out, they break up, and guess what? It becomes something else all over again. Now they're breaking up. Now everyone has to pay attention again. It's manipulation. It's how they consume our time.
Yeah, they love keeping these people in the limelight when they feel like they're getting a little bit unrelevant. They have to find something to push them back up. And we haven't seen nothing relevant for Kendall Jenner, especially since they're like kind of falling off. So the fact that they would put her with Bad Bunny was super shock value, not to just normal people, but definitely to his fans. That was definitely left field for him to date a person like Kendall Jenner.
We're talking about Bad Bunny here too. Bad Bunny is the Drake of our current world. He is the
Exactly.
new Drake. Even though he's a Latin artist, he outstreams just about everybody, and
He's a big Latin artist. There is many people who are not even Spanish that listen to Bad Bunny and will quote his lyrics, not even knowing what he's saying. That's how big of an artist he is. He has a pull on a lot of people.
yeah. But then Kendall Jenner, sorry, is big in the fashion industry. She's big in the modeling industry, but you put them together now, we got a super couple, is what they call it. And what do you think they mean by super couple? A super couple that makes them a lot of money. That's really all it is. It's just a couple that they can use to, like you said, help Kendall's career if she's suffering in any way, because I really don't follow Kendall at all. And Bad Bunny, Bad Bunny is the biggest puppet of the industry for sure, for sure. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. He's all over the WWE. He's all over movies. He's everywhere you can find where they can, they reach the masses. That's where you can find Bad Bunny. And considering the fact that Bad Bunny made that music video that we covered several times, where he's basically showing himself as a puppet, they're literally they tell on themselves. This relationship, they've moved them like a puppet on strings and connected him with Kendall Jenner. And that's what they're doing. The relationship doesn't even sound like it would work because it usually doesn't really happen like this. But this is the reason why they did it. It's two worlds, they're colliding, and they've been aiming for this for a while. They've been, getting Bad Bunny into American culture. That's why you see him on the WWE. That's why you see a lot of people that are not even Hispanic going to his concerts and listening to his music now because they're pushing that heavily. It's the position that he took in the industry. He wanted to be one of the biggest. He's one of the biggest Masonic puppets. They got him dressed like Baphomet and all this stuff. So it's interesting to see this imagery directly coming from Kendall Jenner and Bad Bunny because it shows what they're up to. It shows that it's not real. It's just another event that they use for attention. All right, let's move on. The next thing I wanted to actually talk about was it's a Madonna clip that I found on YouTube. It's a promotion for a tour. I found this extremely strange. I can't, we're gonna show part of it here, but we can't actually play the audio of it. You guys will have to go see that afterwards on on your own. But Madonna is in here with a bunch of celebrities. As you can see, we got Lil Wayne in there. We got Jack Black. We got Diplo. We got a bunch of big name celebrities. And interesting enough, they're doing one of those Hollywood parties where they do their little Hollywood rituals. There's even a scene where Dimplo takes a cup out and dips his, you know what, and then hands it to another one of those celebrities, and they take a drink out of it. You know, there was a very disturbing situation going on there, and they're daring each other to do things. But I want you guys to understand that this is like the minimum of what goes on in these parties. But it is a good glance of what these people are into. This is what they do when they're by themselves, and they make it seem innocent, but it's not innocent. It's tied to rituals. It's tied to Aleister Crowley. Like we saw, Madonna's a huge fan of Crowley. It's all over her entire career. You see it all over. She has so much duality sprinkled all over her career, all over her music videos. It's hard to avoid. And then Lil Wayne, when I saw Lil Wayne in there, it doesn't even look like he belongs in there, but he was so comfortable. He's so comfortable in this room full of celebrities that are not even a part of what, hip hop. There were comedian, actors, and pop stars, and Lil Wayne seemed like he hung out with them on, every Wednesday. So
and partaking in the stuff what they were doing, like not even giving them side eye or looking at them like, what are you guys doing? Just full on laughing, chilling, relaxing. Like that was normal stuff that they do in their everyday life.
Yeah, that's exactly what my point is. It's like it's normal. AK, have you seen this clip?
Nah, hey, I never seen that, but that was super weird. What the heck?
Yeah, and that was only the I did not play the whole thing.
And if you hear it with sound, it's pretty crazy, man. They're doing some
Yeah.
pretty crazy things. Like I said, we definitely can't play the sound on here, but yeah, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I don't understand. Like, well, I know why they do this. It's to normalize this because these are rituals. What they're doing are rituals. If you pick up Marina Abramovich's book of spells, her book of spiritual cooking, like she calls it, which is just spells, they have a bunch of disturbing things in those books. A bunch of disturbing things. Like you wouldn't even imagine why she's like telling you to do the most random things, and you think it might be for nothing, but it's not. These are rituals that trace back to ancient times, to the times of the pagans. You understand? These are when these people did these things and they practiced these things and they wrote them down and they passed them down in secrecy. The occult passes this down. That's why this doesn't become public knowledge. Now, in the times of the internet, it's hard to hide all of this. And that's how I'm able to find so much. But even then, there's so much that is hidden from me that I won't understand. It's very consuming when you take a second and you look at it. But this event right here alone is very concerning because what are they all doing? It doesn't make sense for them to do the things that they were doing. It's very unhuman. But like I said, if you look at that Marina Abramovich book, it explains it all. Marina Abramovich got her rituals directly from Aleister Crowley, and Aleister Crowley claims he got his book directly from the gods. Literally is what he says. He got his book from some Egyptian god named Awis. This is what Crowley states. If you guys want me to get into the Crowley story, you guys can let me know in the chat right now. I don't want to go all into Crowley all over again because I've explained them a few times. But if you guys want to hear how Crowley wrote the book of the law and how Crowley influenced our generation, I have no problem with breaking it down right now. So, if you guys want me to break it down, let me see in the chat. All right. I'll get into it. So, according to what I've read, this is how Crowley wrote the book of the law. He was in Egypt, if I'm not mistaken, and he was tripping on substances, let's just say, and he claims that he got possessed and he went on a binge. He didn't call it a possession though, but let's be honest, it was a possession. He claims that a spirit into him, it was a god named Awis, and she told him that he was going to bring in the order of the Aeon and that he was going to be basically like a prophet. So he was like possessed and under control by this god. And she made him write the book of the law, which is the book of spells, which is the book that's basically the plan. I wouldn't say the modern plan because the Masonic order has already had this plan forever. This is, in my belief, this was just Crowley continuing the Masonic information and putting it out there and claiming it as his own, because Crowley became a Mason before that happened. Crowley became a Mason in Mexico. He became a Freemason, then he went to Egypt, and that's when he met his wife, who he thought she was a god as well, an incarnation of a god. So Crowley did all of this and wrote the Book of the Law. Then he also wrote another book called the Book of S Magic. I'm not going to say the full word so we don't have any troubles with YouTube, but it was the Book of S Magic. And in that Book of S Magic, we see a bunch of rituals that are superiorly inappropriate. And those rituals are, once again, he claims, were given to him by the god Awis. So these rituals that these celebrities are currently doing in the modern time are the rituals that he claims he got from an ancient god. And like I've said before, I believe these ancient gods that he claims he was in contact with were no gods at all. They were just fallen angels. So he was in communication with fallen angels, with demons. And the demons instructed him to write this Book of the Law. And I believe Crowley realized this himself, because Crowley went on to say that, call himself the Beast 666. So I think that the whole God angle was just a way for him to make it sound better. But I think that Crowley knew he was talking to fallen angels. And the reason we bring all this up with Madonna is because Madonna shows throughout her entire career that she represents this. Like if we go back to her Grammys performance, or not performance, her Grammy speech that she said right before Sam Smith went on stage and did that super satanic ritual, she went and said that she's sending praise to the rebels, to the ones that brought in and changed it and made it okay for people to be the way, that pushed standards and did everything they did. This is what Madonna was representing. This is what she claims. You understand? This is what she purposely says herself. This is what she's in the industry for. It's very, very, extremely interesting to me. I want to start getting into some questions. If you guys have any questions now, I see Kimmy saying, who follows Crowley? Well, openly, we've seen a lot of artists follow Crowley. The Beatles openly follow Crowley. They put him in the cover of their Sgt. Pepper's album. We also saw Ab Soul openly follow Crowley. We saw Ozzy Osbourne openly follow Crowley. We saw Jay-Z openly follow Crowley. We saw it's so many artists for me to go off the top of my head. Oh, A$AP Rocky. Yeah, there we go. A$AP Rocky, his crew had a Aleister Crowley shirt on during their What's Up music, no, Peso music video, if I'm not mistaken. It's another person we saw wearing an Aleister Crowley shirt was AD from No Jumper. And it's funny because I remember AD saying that he's not a devil worshiper, that he's a man of God and he loves God and all this. But then one of you guys actually were the ones that sent it to me. It was a picture of him from a stream, and I found the stream of him wearing an Aleister Crowley shirt. So I know AD is not stupid, and I know that he knows exactly what Aleister Crowley is. And we know that people don't just randomly buy Aleister Crowley shirts from the store. This is something that he wanted and ordered, and he knew what it represented. So when I saw that, I saw the true AD, and I saw the fact that he was basically just lying, like they all do. I don't think there's going to be money celebrities like Lil Uzi Vert who just openly say that they worship the devil. We're going to be talking about Lil Uzi Vert soon, and I actually got a video with me and Taco coming soon on Lil Uzi Vert and the Rolling Loud situation. That whole thing was crazy. That whole situation it's just getting too crazy to this point where I don't know what these people are calling performances anymore. They should just call them rituals. They should change their name from performances to rituals.
I'm sorry to cut you off and backtrack. So sorry. But I think it goes even further than them just wearing Aleister Crowley on their shirts, on their hats, or whatever. Just with the stuff that they do in their music videos is borderline enough, with the bathing and the stuff that they bathe in, or the eating rituals that they partake in, or the pentagrams that they sit in on the ground with the candles around them. That's just not blatant enough.
Yeah. A good example of the blatant enough was the late rapper Gangsta Boo from the 3 6 Mafia. Gangsta Boo was a strange situation to me when she passed. I forgot to look into it completely, but it was something that I wanted to cover because Gangsta Boo was one of the artists that was openly satanic. She was openly, like Little Uzi Vert, admitting that she worshipped the devil, admitting that she sold her soul, and then later in life she claimed that it was all a joke. I don't know why they do that, but I guess it's a way of defending themselves and protecting themselves as they age and they're no longer celebrities and it no longer looks cool. But we saw what happened with Gangsta Boo. And that's actually, it was a very sad situation, but she has lyrics where she calls herself the devil's daughter. She's a part of a crew called the 3-6 Mafia. I don't, the reports are that people think that Juicy J had something to do with it. There's other people that think that she was a offering for Glorilla out of all people. I don't think that has anything to do with Glorilla at all. I honestly don't think it was for Glorilla, but I definitely believe it was in the occult. And it shows that these people have timelines. You understand? They have points where they're only as useful as they are when they're relevant. Once they're no longer relevant, this is when we see like what happened to Coolio, what happened to DMX. Once these people don't become relevant, they don't care if they perish and they don't care if anything happens to them. You understand? They've already used them as much as they could. They've gotten what they're going to get out of them. And sadly, the industry does this repeatedly, rinse and it repeats and rinse it. Literally, it's the same cycle throughout the entire existence of the industry. They use the artists to manipulate as many people as they can. Once they can't, they kick them to the curb. It's sad. We can see tons of open Masonic imagery coming from Gangsta Boo. So much. It's so open. I did a whole video on 3-6 Mafia.
It's like a mousetrap the way they do it. Bait
Yeah,
them in with cheese.
definitely.
It's definitely a big system. They get these artists, they have them manipulate the masses. They're also making money off of them. And the minute that they can't make money off of them no more, they throw them to the side. They get a new one who's going to spread their agenda. And also, they're going to make the money off of them because in reality, that's all they care about, manipulating us and keeping themselves where they are, making sure that their family has generational wealth while we perish in a sense.
Well, I want to answer this question by Kyla, if I'm not mistaken, in the chat. She said, "What's my thoughts on Ice Spice? Do I think she sold out?" And the only reason I want to answer this is because I've seen her recently with the Kardashians. Honestly, come on. If she's with the Kardashians, the question answers itself. And we saw her with Drake early on. She's another one of those artists like Glorilla who just blew up out of nowhere. Just like Glorilla as well, she has a butterfly tattoo as well, which is, we know the butterfly imagery represents MK Ultra. Not saying that this is what's happening to Ice Spice yet, because it's too early to tell what she's truly on, but it's very interesting to see the moves she's already making. She was with Drake. She was with the Kardashians, and we know the Kardashians are the upper elite of the entertainment industry, not of the Masonic order, definitely not, but of the entertainment industry. These are one of the top celebrities in there, and they're usually we don't see this type of embrace so early on. When do you ever see the Kardashians embrace the upcoming artist? The one street artist from New York, because she's not even a mainstream artist. She's still a drill artist from the Bronx. So it's what do you think, D, about Ice Spice? Do you think she's going through that door?
She's definitely pushing an agenda. Obviously, she has a young audience watching her, so they know what they have her out there doing. I'm not saying that anything that she does or talks about should be a message for children. And the fact that Kim Kardashian invited her over there to hang out with her 9-year-old daughter, big red flag. She's like 18, 20 years old, Ice Spice. I'm not too sure. But that's not somebody that you have come hang around your 9-year-old daughter.
Yeah, I see. Chevy B said, "I don't think she's gone through that door yet, but who knows?" Chevy B, why do you feel that way? Why do you feel that she hasn't gone through that door? You think that they would be inviting her to these live, to do content with the Kardashians if she wasn't a part of the agenda? Just asking. Just want to see your response. Let me see if I can even see where you're going.
I think I might understand why they think that, and it's because like just like we saw with Glorilla, Ice Spice is in her first Glorilla stage, just coming up. Except for, she does have a little bit more relevancy than Glorilla had at the time because, she did go hang out with Drake. She did go hang out with Kim Kardashian, but we haven't seen her do symbolism yet. So I'm pretty sure that's what she's waiting for, or him. I'm sorry, I'm not sure who wrote the comment, but I'm pretty sure that's what they're waiting for, is to see her actually take that next step and, do her symbolism, you know, push a stronger agenda or do something satanic like.
Yeah, it's just that, like I said, we have to be realistic. We can't pick and choose. If one person gets with the Kardashians, we know what it means. If let's say Drake hangs out with the Kardashians, we know what that means. So if a new upcoming artist hangs out with the Kardashians, we know exactly what it means. It's a sellout move. Something is going on that is compromising who they are, because this is everything that comes from the Kardashian. Once you get involved with the Kardashians, your career compromises for them. They like consume you. They steal your energy. They steal your clout. And I think that, and everybody could agree with that on here, that the Kardashians are a career destroyer. They consume your career and they spit the bones out. Wouldn't you say, AK or Taco?
Agreed. I feel like they're a vicious family. I mean, I don't know. I feel like they're serious witches, really.
Yeah, no, that's what the rumor is. But we have to understand that, technically speaking, all of these people are witches and warlocks. That's what we're speaking about occultists, and occultists perform rituals, and rituals is a form of witchcraft. So yeah, you're right. These are powerful witches. And like Kardashian, Kim said herself, she wanted a lock of Marilyn Monroe's hair, I think it was, so she can go back and do some voodoo to it. If I'm misquoting her, I know it was something in that sense.
Yeah, you made the video. Yeah. Talk
Yeah,
about it.
it's just it's strange to see that Ice Spice, out of all people, an upcomer who just literally, the same thing like the Glorilla situation. There's tons of other female artists that are like bubbling, but they're not there yet. They're not, we're not seeing them with the one eye symbolism. We're not seeing them in these parties, in these situations with the big celebrities. They're definitely, like we were talking about earlier with Glorilla. I think 100% Glorilla crossed that door. She's definitely a part of the industry, and I might do a breakdown on Glorilla itself. It's just that I don't feel that it's enough for me to make a full video on her, but there's definitely more than enough evidence you can see. Like, even when I was looking into Yo Gotti and CMG, the amount of people that passed around CMG and Yo Gotti, that speaks for itself. That's right there. I believe that's another way of ritual offerings that are taking place. People might call it for the streets, but let's look at Young Thug. They're saying Young Thug, everything he was doing was for the streets, but it's 100% confirmed that Young Thug is a Freemason. 100% confirmed. And there's people that are snitching on Young Thug in court, saying that Young Thug was bloodthirsty, that he was ordering people to be eliminated left and right. And then there's another audio clip of Young Thug talking about that people had to get sacrificed. You think that's a coincidence? I don't think that's a coincidence whatsoever. AK, do you think that Young Thug, being a Freemason, referring to sacrifices and being bloodthirsty, has anything to do with just the streets?
Of course not. He's way more wicked than that. If you're saying stuff like that and you're showing it and you rap about it in almost all your songs, you're definitely way more wicked than that.
Definitely. And it's very interesting to me that he's still arrested. Of course, like, people are bringing that up. They're saying that he's still in jail. I see that often. But the thing is that in order to fool the world, you can't just pull the cover right away. You have to slowly do it. You have to reveal it. And Thug is going to win this case. I know for a fact, by winning, it could be in one or two ways. The charges can get dropped, or he'll just get a insufficient amount of time for the crime that he's being accused of. If they give him 3 years and he's already been in there a year or two and he goes home, that I don't really call that paying for the crimes that he did. You understand? And when he's being accused of basically ordering hits left and right and taking people out for no apparent reason. His own people were saying that he was doing way too much. His own guys. There's literally videos of his own people in jail being interviewed, and they're giving people up because they're afraid. They're saying that Young Thug might come after them. It's very, very alarming to know that people would deny the facts that are right in front of their face when it comes to Young Thug. He says he's a Mason, and I literally saw people arguing that he's not a Mason, that he's just playing around with that. There is no playing around with that. There's pictures of him in a Masonic lodge holding his certificate. You know, he's definitely 100% a Mason. And I honestly believe he's not going to be in prison for the rest of his life. I don't think that's going to happen. You know, when we look at the industry, what I want people to comprehend is a lot of people say that the industry is not ran by the Masons, that they think that there's a higher organization than the Masons. And I want these people to understand that there is not. The Masons go back in history to the before the supposedly when, and I couldn't 100% prove this, it goes back to like the year 800. So the Masons are like, they're basically ancient. They have been around our entire civilization, and they created they created America. Basically, everyone who created America, everyone who played a part in creating America was a Freemason. Just about every one of them. So, like I said, America is the land of the Masons. So the industry, the music industry, is ran by these executives that are Freemasons. So it's not a choice. It's not if the artist wants to or not. If you want to be a part of this mainstream industry that they created, you have to fall in line with what they want. They're the one who set the rules. If you cannot be an occultist and you can get assigned to a record label tomorrow, that record label is going to use you just like they use the occultists. You're going to be dressed in the same imagery as them. You're going to be putting out the same imagery in your music videos, and you're going to be doing exactly what they're told. But in a way, you still sold your soul because you agreed to do all of this, something that you're not a part of, something that you don't really want to do, just for money, attention, and clout. And that's selling out. So the Masonic order controls the music industry. Taco, do you see my point when I refer to the Masons running the industry? Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I see exactly what you're saying. But they're always behind the scenes doing what they have to do, like manipulating the puppet strings. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Make sure that everyone stays in place, does what they're supposed to do.
And that's clear across all types of music genres. Like we have pop music where we have people saying that they would sell their soul for wishes and stuff. And this is pop music that's supposed to be bubbly, upbeat. And they're also, you know, with their checkerboard floors in there or throwing their subliminals in there. So it's very apparent how much control they have. And it's not just within the hip hop community. They want to make sure they can manipulate us wherever we are, whatever we listen to, whatever we watch. And they have unfortunately done a good job at doing so.
You know, something you said interesting was they sell their soul for wishes. I was actually looking yesterday doing research on an upcoming video. I actually want to do a video on ritual sacrifices, you know, as it is. Let me know in the chat if you guys want to see a video on ritual sacrifices. Because I actually, what I was seeing was very interesting. And when it comes to the ritual sacrificing, it literally says that in the pagan times, they did sacrifices to get, I don't want to misquote it. Let me exactly bring it up because it was for good fortune. They did sacrifices to please the gods and for good fortune. What happens when these celebrities blow up? Good fortune. What usually happens to one of their family members around them, one of their loved ones, one of their close friends? They pass. And then they receive all of this good fortune, all of this money, fame. They become gods on earth. That's literal good fortune. It's basically what Lucifer offered Jesus. The ultimate betrayal. Taking someone out for you to have the world, that is the ultimate betrayal of God because God represents loving each other. God represents doing for one another. That's literally what the message of God is to live for each other and not for yourself. That's what truly the message of God represents. And a lot of people don't really see that. But once you complete the Bible, once you see and you understand the Bible, the message in the Bible and the message that comes from God is to love one another. And that's what loving God is because God created us all. We're not supposed to be selfish. But the world is pushing selfishness. And that's why we see these celebrities who do these type of things and then they become successful. Kanye West did not just say all these celebrities make ritual offerings or sacrifice people and that his mother was a sacrifice, and it be a lie? Why would Kanye West put that out there about his own mother? Why would he want people to think that about his own mother? That was a moment where he was trying to push back at the industry and show them that he was willing to go kamikaze. He was willing to self-destruct to get where he wanted, you know? And it's interesting to see how much people would look at this and say, the artists don't do sacrifices. This is not something that really happens. But then it's just so much evidence that we can consistently see over a long period of time. So much evidence. Artists like the Baby. If I'm not mistaken, it was his father, right? His father passed right before he blew up. Same thing with Meg Thee Stallion. You know, Nicki Minaj had a similar situation not so long ago.
The drill rapper that you've been covering from the Bronx.
Oh yeah, Didi Osama, his brother. And he even admits it, that his brother passed and that's when his success started. You know, they don't even hide this anymore. And it's sad because that kid is literally like 14 years old. So it's very disturbing to think that if he would do something like that. And like we saw with NBA Youngboy, NBA Youngboy was a Mason since he was a child. They have there's the music video of NBA Youngboy with a Masonic chain, and he had to be like 16 years old. So he had to be a part of the Masonic Demolay organization. That means his family were Masonic. And it could be the same. Like there's Masons everywhere. There's Masons in New York. There's Masons in Florida. There's Masons in every one of these states. So of course there can be a child of a family of Masons, and that reaches that level of success. So when I see Didi Osama, that's exactly what I pick up from. I feel that it was a ritual done in that sense. You know, I actually want to get through some of you guys' questions. Let me see some of these questions that you guys are asking here in the chat. Let me go through them. All right. Any of you guys, any questions in the chat? This is the time to ask some questions in the chat. We're going to be taking the next couple minutes to answer some of you guys' questions before we get on to the next topic. I'm not sure about Rod Wave. I haven't really looked into Rod Wave. Easter, that's a good question. Easter, the actual holiday, no. The actual holiday of Easter is not Christian itself. It actually is pagan, but it refers to the day that Jesus was resurrected. So when you looked in, when I was searching and trying to confirm if is expected and believed that Jesus resurrected on Easter Day, it is believed that Jesus resurrected that day. But what happens is, just like we saw with many other holidays, the Romans mixed in that day, that specific day, and they turned it into their pagan holiday. If you Google it right now, a quick Google search, it says, well, it turns out Easter actually began as a pagan festival, celebrating spring in the northern hemisphere. Long before the advent of Christianity, since prehistoric times, people have celebrated the equinox and the solstice as sacred times. So it's open as day. It's just like Christmas, is just like Halloween. They mixed it with Christian values so that they can convince people to follow a pagan holiday. That's really what it is. I want to respond to this question from the super chat. From the super sticker. It says, why and how is the number 666 symbolic to Satanism? Well, in the Bible, it says the number 666 is the number of the beast. And I believe that people refer to the 666 not being satanic because of the artists nowadays who are literally making things up, saying that 666 represents 6 protons, 6 neutrons, 6 electrons. I already broke this down. This is all nonsense. That makes up one of the elements that makes up carbon. It does not even make up carbon alone. And carbon is in every single thing. So it just doesn't make any sense. It's just it's scientific talk. It's something that the scientists created. It's not real. This isn't this isn't godly. This isn't biblical. In the Bible, it says that 666 is the mark of the beast. And then we saw people like Crowley use that number to represent the beast. AK, do you feel like 666 is a holy number, or 666 is the number of the code of the world or something? This is what people refer it to.
I'm actually not even sure. Like, I don't know how to feel about that number, but I know it's evil. I just never knew why, really.
It's they in the Bible is it said it was the mark of the beast, the mark of the devil. It represents Lucifer. So basically, it's if God tells you one thing, I don't see what anybody would even want to question God. You know, it just doesn't make. I wouldn't comprehend that part right there. But the fact is that the point that people are trying to use to justify 666 is incorrect, and it was created by SoundCloud rappers. You understand? This theory was Trippie Redd was one of the first people I heard ushering it out of his mouth, and he was trying to make it sound like some sacred thing. And Trippie Redd is the same guy that we see we're wearing upside down crosses and doing videos with the devil and horns and rituals. You know, it speaks for itself. 666 is the number of the beast. That's it. It's always going to be that. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. You know? Let's see what other questions we got in here. I see this person 666 just repeating the same exact thing that he heard either Trippie Redd say or one of these SoundCloud rappers say. But if you just take 5 minutes to do research, you realize that that's just false. 666 does not represent the atoms of all the cells in the body. It's not true. Let's see what let me find another one of you guys' questions. This person said, do I think every musician who signs to Sony have sold their souls? All right. Sony is one of the major record labels. That is only 3 major record labels. It's Sony, Universal, and Warner. So I don't think that every celebrity in the world has like willingly sold their soul. I think that most celebrities have no choice once they get to that point. You know, once they get to that point, they have to do what they're told. And either they're a cultist or not, they're still serving the system. You know, that's what they're doing. That's what they're there for. Let me respond to this one now. Is another super chat. Is it possible for these sellout celebrity puppets to enter the gate of heaven? I think so, of course. I think that if someone truly repents, they can definitely turn their lives around. God doesn't say that it's ever too late. I don't think that it's ever too late. But the thing is that a lot of people don't want to give up the lifestyle that they're already living. So if it consists of you no longer promoting music or making music that's destroying your people, but you know that if you stop making that music, you're no longer going to make money, you're no longer going to have the lifestyle you have, then, you know, some people don't want to make that risk. They prefer to have their paradise here on earth. So yes, it's possible to be redeemed. It's possible to turn to God to the very end. The question is, are people going to make that happen? Are people going to pay the price and lose everything they have to make it happen? Because if you build your entire life off of corruption and evil, if you turn to God, all that you build is just gonna fall. You're gonna have to rebuild it through God, and I don't think a lot of people want that. So it's why we don't often see it. Maybe, you know, maybe we'll see it soon. Maybe we'll see a celebrity turn to God. Like a lot of people thought it was Kanye, but it's just, come on. Like I'm not buying Kanye. Taco's not here. I'm sorry. AK, you buying Kanye repentance and turning to God?
I'm not buying it at all. I mean, especially since he's backing up Balenciaga and they've already proven to be evil. Like the highest people in charge of Balenciaga, they're evil. If you look into it, it's just all bad. And, you know, especially him going on the whole church thing, like bringing Marilyn Manson. Like, come on.
Yeah, that was blasphemy. And it's important. It's good that you bring up the Balenciaga situation because people overlook that. It's not just Balenciaga people. It's a bunch of designer brands. Gucci's a part of that too. There's a few other big brands that are a part of it. And when we look at that, what was going on with the Balenciaga situation is they were into some weird paintings. They were selling weird paintings and sculptures. The owner who owned the father company of Balenciaga and all those other brands, he had his own separate private company where he auctioned off like these weird child, you know, paintings that were very, 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 let's just leave it at that, weird. You know, this is what he did And he also did that with the Balenciaga. So when people were saying or trying to defend Balenciaga like Kanye, it just shows exactly who Kanye is. That was a great point. Because why is Kanye defending this man, saying that that God loves, that God loves Balenciaga, when Balenciaga, the owner of Balenciaga, has shown that he's into doing some very sick, disturbing things. You understand? He has shown evidence that he's twisted. You feel me? And so it's kind of like when you look at it, it speaks for itself. So if we look at the person who created Balenciaga, we look at the person who's represents the company, and then you look at Kanye West praising Balenciaga and Kanye West claiming that Balenciaga should be forgiven and that no one, it tells you that Kanye West has never been on our side. It tells you that Kanye West, they flipped him. It's like they used him to like get more people that are innocent people, convince people that are followers of Christ to follow him. And if you think about it, it's an ingenious way. How do you get to those people that you're not going to get to unless through faith? You have to act like you're a part of their faith. It's like literally the sheep in wolf's clothing, or the wolf in sheep's clothing. He literally disguised himself as one of the Christians, as one of our people, to get in here and infiltrate us, get as many of us to follow him, and then lead them to a burning end. And it's sad that it worked. There was so many people that changed their minds on Kanye. You know, they were willing to put their reputations on the line for Kanye. They were saying that Kanye was definitely not a bad person, or Kanye has changed. And it's just right in the open with him. I would have never expected him to say anything about Balenciaga while he was on this rant about exposing the industry. It just doesn't add up. It would have made a lot more sense. And wasn't he the one that said that all these celebrities were quiet about Balenciaga?
He sure was. He was saying that nobody
Yeah,
wanted
he
to
did.
speak out about it. And like and essentially he was the only one speaking up about it. But then, he went away after his little manic episode, got married, goes on his little shopping spree with Balenciaga, and then turns around and signs again with Adidas. And I think that's just another way to get him back into where he's supposed to be. And later on, they're probably going to end up pushing their deal even further and allowing him to create more stuff for his Yeezy line with Adidas.
You know, Kanye West is the flip flop with him is crazy. That right there, that alone should show people that he's on both sides. He literally one sentence said, "Oh, look at all these celebrities that are not speaking out against Balenciaga," and in the next sentence he's defending Balenciaga. It just shows that Kanye is literally playing both sides, and it's not just in this instance. He's been playing both sides the entire time he claims to be a Christian. He is a Christian, and then he drops songs, and there's rumors. Literally, this is the rumor about Kanye West. The entire time that he was with Kim Kardashian, while he was claiming to be Christian, he would have 3 to 4 women with him in his studio while he was recording. And in between recording his sessions or working on his beats, whatever he wanted to do, he would take the women with him into a separate room and, do what he does and come back to the recording studio while he was married, while he was claiming to be a man of God, while he was saying he was Christian, and while he was preaching to his fans that, to live a godly existence. But it just shows that Kanye West is just manipulating the audience. I understand that no one's perfect, and I understand that, you shouldn't judge anyone. And this is not judging Kanye. My goal is never to judge anyone. It's just to show the hypocrisy. It's just to show that he is not truly on one side. He is playing both sides. Sorry?
Morals Manson, or whatever his name is. The Manson guy, the one you said who ate Bibles and stuff.
Oh, Marilyn Manson?
Oh yeah, that's his name.
Yeah, Marilyn Manson. When he was hanging out with Marilyn Manson, that was another huge. Come on, he brought Marilyn Manson to his event, his Donda event. He brought Marilyn Manson to church. And there's I covered him one time with, it was him, Justin Bieber, and Justin Bieber's another one who claims to be Christian. Real quick, let me get to this question. Have you looked into the Starset or Con? I do not know what that is. I'll have to look into that for sure. I'm going to screenshot this so that I can look into this afterwards. Yeah, but back to the Kanye. It's just that Kanye is one of those guys that I want people to comprehend. if you want to follow him, that's on you. I'm not judging you because I understand that I could be wrong. For all I know, Kanye could just be a man that's unstable and he really is exposing the industry, but he just decided to stop for some reason. But the thing is that the signs speak for themselves. Kanye made that tweet. I just spoke about this recently where he was that post on Instagram where he was talking about his personal trainer, using substances and institutionalizing him if he doesn't be quiet. And then he goes missing, comes back, and he's the calm Kanye that they like. That just speaks for itself too. And people were saying in the last one that wasn't proof that Kanye flip flopped or that Kanye was fooling his fans, but it was. Kanye never stopped fooling his fans. Like he was always fooling his fans. He has been the entire time. What Kanye has shown throughout his entire career that he's been a victim of MK Ultra. He's shown that he's mentally unstable. He's shown that things have been done to him, and it contradicts from where he began. He was a different person when he began. And a lot of people think that it was after he joined the Kardashians or after he was with the Kardashians. It's very concerning the amount of people that just want to follow Kanye and they want him to be their savior when we already have a savior, really.
Yeah, especially as when we were being young, or at least I can speak for myself, being young and looking up to just people because they idolize themselves and put themselves on a pedestal when they're just humans that just have popularity.
Exactly. I see someone in the comments here. A lot of people feel that Kanye is their savior, and it's okay if you feel that Kanye is that person for you. Then I'm not trying to insult you or Kanye. I'm just pointing out what Kanye has done himself. Kanye is the one that's worn the satanic imagery. Kanye is the one that said he sacrificed his mom. Kanye is the one that has shown himself and called himself a god on multiple occasions. That's another thing right there that I always found interesting. He called himself a god for years. You understand? This was something that he normally did. He even made an album where he referred to himself as Jesus. So he calls himself this god for so long, and then he makes his own Kanye church, is what they were calling it. I don't think that people were going there to worship God. I feel like they were there to worship Kanye, because even the songs were Kanye songs that he kind of just tweaked a little bit to reference, God in a sense, a little bit, but that's not really what it was. Now I'm gonna go through some more questions. Anybody has any more questions they want to ask? I'm looking through the chat right now. I see this. Do you think people like Messi or Ronaldo are with the elites? I definitely think that's a possibility because we're talking about the mainstream entertainment industry, the mainstream sports industry, and these are the biggest athletes in their, soccer, if I'm not mistaken, right? That's where Ronaldo, he's a soccer player. He's the biggest, if I'm not mistaken, he's one of the biggest soccer players in the entire league. So of course, it's like LeBron. They're not gonna. I haven't looked into soccer, but I'm pretty sure if I look into soccer, just like I saw when I looked into the NBA, just like I saw when I looked into the NFL, it was created. The sport, like NBA, was created by a Freemason. I think his name was James Naismith, if I'm not mistaken. He was created. It was the sport, though. The NBA was obviously a Masonic-owned organization, but the sport itself was created by a Freemason. And also football, I saw a bunch of Masonic imagery coming from football as well, from the NFL. So definitely, I feel like soccer can definitely have the same, especially since it's broadcasted to the masses. Now, let me go to this question here. Let me see. This question says, you should look into festivals and the purpose of the festivals in general. EDC Orlando has an owl that blinks in front of everyone with weird imagery. If I'm not mistaken, I did cover, I did a podcast on the festivals. I'm not sure if it's the same festivals you're talking about, but I will definitely make a video because all these rave and festival events, just like we saw with the Brazil Carnival, they have this type of dark satanic imagery, but what do we expect? It's put on like these are the largest events put on by these mega corporations that are Masonic companies. The party is always going to be put on by the Masons. The big party, the big fun that everyone's going to love and have, like we see with Disney. Disney is one of the biggest corporations in the world, but there's already tons of proof that links it back to the Masonic order. And people see Disney as, the top of the top. They see Disney as, because they should, Disney owns just about a bunch of other companies that are not just Disney. If I'm not mistaken, don't they own ESPN? Can you verify that for me? Sorry, I'm checking if it, because yeah, ESPN is even owned by Disney. So of course, of course, these festivals, these large events, everything that's going to be in the masses' eyes, they're going to try to play a part in it. And it might be a good part and it might be a bad part. By a good part, it might be that it's just a way for them to make money. By a bad part, it might be that they have total and complete control over it. And we've seen that several times. I got a question here from Kimberly Barnes. Is Kanye's new wife his handler? I've said this before. I honestly do think so. I don't even know where she came from. I didn't see any previous sightings of Kanye and her before. And it's also strange that they kind of got together after Kanye left Yeezy and she worked at Yeezy. So I definitely feel that Kanye's new wife that just came out of nowhere all of a sudden is 1,000% possibly. I'm not going to say for sure because I don't have enough proof yet, but I 1,000% believe there's a possibility that that's who his new handler is. And especially when we consider how Kanye is acting now. Kanye is acting like he wasn't doing nothing a few weeks ago, well, about 2 months ago. He wasn't stirring up and tearing down the industry just the other day. Now Kanye's pacified, like I said. Now he's just back to Kanye. And it's weird. He always does this. I did not think that he was going to be able to do this time. I really didn't. I really did not think that Kanye was going to go as crazy as he did. And it was just going to end with him disappearing and coming right back like nothing happened. It's like before he used to disappear and go to his, what was it they used to call it? They used to call it was it Nebraska? Was it? I don't think it was Nebraska. It was somewhere in the middle of nowhere. He used to just go to the middle of nowhere, come back, and supposedly had music done, and then he'll start acting crazy. It's just, it's insane if you think about it. Now let me ask this question, and I want to say thank you to Darsh for the $100 donation. He wrote, living in India where rituals and sacrifices to so-called demon is so common, I see good opportunity in Hollywood. I was actually, when I was looking into the video about rituals, that was one of the things that I saw, that rituals are still actually being done. And there's cases and instances of rituals being done all throughout the world, like recent cases, 1960s, 1990s. That's why I'm so devoted to make this video. I'm going to actually start looking into how making this video, getting it all in there allowed on YouTube, because that's another problem. When we speak about certain things, YouTube doesn't like that, and YouTube either, doesn't recommend the video, or the video just not allowed on the platform. But I'm definitely gonna sorry about that. I'm definitely gonna make a video on it. I'm gonna touch in on all those specific points, like especially like countries like India and or continents like in general, like Africa, the continent of Africa. There was a bunch of people in there that were doing these rituals. You understand? There was a bunch of people that were in these countries that there were cults that were actually participating in these rituals recently. This is something that they still do to those ancient gods and to other reasons. There was one that I saw, if I'm not mistaken, it was in, I think it was the United Kingdom. Well, we saw it with Wales too, but I don't remember off the top of my head. You guys are just going to have to wait for the video on rituals. And I will be doing that one soon. I will start working on that one soon. I was already looking into it. So I was definitely start working into that one, on that one soon. Let me go through some more questions. This person asks, can I go more in depth on handlers? Yeah, definitely could. I can possibly make another video on that where I show different instances of handlers in the industry. Let's see what else questions we have here. Okay. What are your thoughts on Young Dolph or Nipsey Hussle? I actually covered both Young Thug and Nipsey Hussle. Um, Nip, did it say Young Thug or Young Dolph? I actually covered Young Dolph and Nipsey Hussle. Young Dolph was very interesting because right before he passed, he had that video where it was like a ton of Masonic imagery, and then he shows himself in a burning end. It was just very disturbing and sad because not so long after that video, he passed away. And the same thing with Nipsey. Nipsey passed at the age of 33, and he had Masons attending his funeral. He had a Masonic lodge who went to his funeral, and the Masons only attend funerals in Masonic attire when they're Freemason member, when a Freemason member has passed. So Nipsey Hussle was definitely a Freemason. His whole entire independent career, it was just like that. I looked into it. He was never truly independent. He was signed, and then he also signed a distribution deal. So he wasn't truly independent. It was just his whole gimmick and whole approach. Now I know a lot of people felt like he was not with the industry, but it's just that there would be no reasons for the Masons to show up to his funeral if he wasn't a part of the industry. I'm looking through you guys' questions again. Yeah, I said I would cover soccer soon. There was one other thing I wanted to talk to you guys about. Let me see here. It'll come back to me in a second. Let me continue going through these questions. Oh yeah, I wanted to cover the WWE video. Let you guys know it's on the way. The video is done. I'm dealing with a copyright strike. I posted it. It was a copyright content ID, not a strike, thank God. I posted it on the community wall, not the community wall. I put it in the last video. I explained that when I went to upload the video, after a certain amount of time it was up, it got struck by the content ID claim, and I appealed it. I'm hoping that the appeal goes by tomorrow. If it doesn't get approved by tomorrow, I'm probably going to have to cut that part out of the video and just upload it without that and just put that out. I'm going to most likely have to make a second part to the video anyways and get that part rewritten and put in there because the video, the WWE was just so... How many of you guys are ready for the WWE video? How many of you guys actually want to see that video?
Hey man, I'm so excited for it.
Yeah, it's a good video, but the only problem that I had was that it was so much to cover in one video that I felt like if I would have done one video long, it would have probably been about an hour and a half or an hour and 20 minutes. And I had to try to compress all this information. And the video is still pretty long. It's over 20 minutes. So it's a pretty long video. It's still, I see a question here. Let me get to this question. This person asks, again, in your opinion, do you think the rapture will happen within our lifetime, within the next 50 years or so? In my opinion, I can't answer that because I don't think any man knows when that day is coming. That day is going to come whenever God says it is, it's set to happen. But the signs that, when we look around and we're seeing all this imagery, it paints a clear picture of what time in life we're in. It refers too much to scripture of end time scriptures. It appears like we might be our own undoing. The stuff that we are allowing, the stuff that society is accepting nowadays, I feel like it's the problem that may cause that to come, you know. And I think that God has always had the control and the power, but he's allowing us, you know, to run the show here. He's allowing us to do what we want to do with our decision, with our free will. So I can't answer that because like I'm not God, so I wouldn't know when that's gonna happen. But with the signs around us, they speak for themselves. Grammys, you know, the artists, all the imagery they're putting up, I feel like they're definitely pushing for that. They definitely want people to feel like that. So there could be a reason for that, you know? This person named Rob, he just said, yo, truth. When you mention the eye of providence or the all seeing eye or one eye symbolism, please mention it. Please mention it's for their Masonic god Nimrod, aka Gilgamesh, aka the Might Hunter, who lost one eye. Very true. Yes, the Masons love Nimrod. There's a lot of Nimrod worship in the Mason Bible. I actually saw pictures. For some reason, I can't find the link where I saw the pictures. I was trying to get the link again, but for some reason, I lost the link. And there was pictures of the Masons Bible, and there's a lot of Nimrod worship in there. But that's a thing. It goes back to the pagan gods. It's not just one pagan god. They are into all of them. And it's because, like I said, I feel like those pagan gods that were worshipped before were just the fallen angels. That was a really good point there. I appreciate that. This person says, what do I think about the rapper Logic? The rapper Logic, I never really looked into him too much, but I did see that he was definitely in mainstream, you know, in the mainstream music industry. He made that one song, you know, that hotline song, I don't want to say exactly what it is so this stream doesn't get taken down, but he made that one hotline song that was really big. It was all over the radio. I don't really see Logic being a threat that much because it's not that mainstream really. He's not that big of, but he definitely has songs with artists that are a part of the industry. So it seems concerning to me. Eneli Chapa, I felt like he was a snake oil salesman. He was promoting all this healthy stuff and saying that he was pushing health, and I didn't really see that coming from him. It looked like he was just trying to make money off his fans, and he's definitely, like I said, any of these artists that are signed to a major label, whether they want to or not, they're going to be pushing the Masonic agenda. When they make a song, they got to get that song approved by the record label so it can get dropped. The record label sometimes provide these artists with full songs. They just got to go to the studio and record them. So even if the artist himself is not an occultist or trying to be an occultist, they still use them as an occultist. They still use them to push the agenda. They still use them, you know, as a mouthpiece for the industry. I've spoken about, I see this person named James Aaron. He says, what I think about Little Baby. I've spoken about Little Baby in the past already. He's already been showing signs of being a Masonic puppet. And with Little Baby, we have to understand, like, he's too close tied in with Young Thug. You know, he's too close to Young Thug, and Young Thug shows that him and his entire crew, like Metro Boomin and all the rest of them, they're all Masonic puppets. They're all open Masons. They put the imagery all over. He uses, Metro Boomin uses the Freemasonic all-seeing eye symbol as his own record label symbol. So artists like Little Baby is definitely, I have a whole video on Little Baby, so you can definitely check that out. From 2024 says, just wanted to say thank you for what you do. It takes courage and bravery. Would love to see you do a collage with Noah Jacob TV. I don't know who Noah Jacob TV is, but I'll definitely check him out, and let's see if we can make that happen. And I appreciate you as well. Thank you for all the donations, and thank you for all the wonderful questions you've been asking. This person, Andrew, said, are you aware of David Crowley's movie Gray State, basically exposing the New World Order? Yes, I did. If I'm not mistaken, isn't David Crowley he was like an ex-military? Andrew confirmed this for me. He was an ex-military, and he made his documentary, and then he passed. Him and his wife, they said that he did it to himself. But am I correct, Andrew? Let me see if I see you in here. I want to make sure we're talking about the same guy. Am I correct, Andrew, or am I wrong? Pluma says wrong guy. Because that's when I thought you were referring to the there was this one guy who was making a documentary. I don't remember his name off the top of my head. He was making a documentary on the Masonic Order and on the New World Order, and he was showing all this stuff and what he thought was going to happen off of the evidence he discovered, and then mysteriously, before his documentary can be released, he ends up passing. D just pulled it up for me. What's the name? Oh yeah, and it is David Crowley. That's it. She just confirmed it for me. It's definitely David Crowley who I'm talking about. Let me get into some of these other questions. Queen says, I respect your relationship with D. Share things I learned with my husband. 3 small kids with him. He thinks I'm crazy, losing it. I need help helping him. Well, I would always start, Queen, by showing him what's the easiest to prove. And the easiest to prove to me is how the Masons created America. That's just the most easiest, because with a simple Google search, you just look up who was the first president, or you look up Masonic presidents, and you see that George Washington, he was a Freemason. You see that those that signed the Declaration of Independence were all Freemasons. You see that all of these people that had a fundamental part in our school's history, when we look at like what the history that school teaches us, you start to see exactly that they were painting these people like, you understand, like so when you want to help someone understand, I would always point back to that. I would always point back to how the country was created by Masons. I would always point back to how the presidents are all related to the royal family and how the royal family are all Freemasons. And this is factual 100%. There's no need for speculation. You understand? You could also prove how Jack the Ripper was a Freemason, and how all that stuff that they did in history, the mystery of Jack the Ripper was really because he was a Freemason. So all of that, like, if he has a problem understanding facts, then you might want to try to help him understand facts as it is, because those are just facts. But other than that, there is no denying the facts. Once you show them the facts, it is what it is. They can argue if they want. This person named Shami Deep said, Truth, can you talk about the possible long-term effects of constant cell phone usage and radiation on the human body? I think that's a very good topic to make a video on. I'll have to actually make a video on that, because it's not going to be something that I can talk off the top of my head, so I can be able to provide the best video. But that's definitely a concern. And I would just say from now, it's always good to talk through speaker. If you talk through speaker, you give yourself enough space between your phone. Try not to have your phone anywhere in the upper part of your body throughout the day. Like if you're a female and you like to, store your phone and in certain places, you might want to not put them anywhere on top of your body and the top half of your body, and keep them in your pocket. And it's the best thing that you could do. Take them out of your pocket if you don't need to have it in your pocket. If you're not outside, don't consistently have it. But yeah, there's definitely concerns when it comes to phone usage. I was looking into that myself a while ago, so that would definitely be an interesting video to make. This guy named Payne Nagato said, thoughts on Geometra? Do you agree or disagree on it? I've seen a lot of you guys bring this up on YouTube, And it's just I know that the Masons believe in sacred math, so I know for a fact that there is sacred mathematics that goes into Masonry and the occult. But what I see a lot of people doing with Geometry Online, I do not buy that. I feel like they don't understand and they're just trying to connect the dots however they can. But from what I've seen, I don't see any evidence of Geometra being, understood correctly by the people who are talking about it, at least. I know, like I said, the Masons believe in sacred math and sacred algebra, to be exact, but I'm not sure if that's directly tied to Geometra, at least the Geometra that people are considering or talking about on YouTube. AK, do you believe in Geometra? Because I'm not sure of how the audience feels on Geometra. I've only been seeing like very few people bring this up.
Bro, I don't believe in that, honestly.
Yeah, like, it's not that it's not that I don't believe in it. It's that I haven't really seen proof, and I'm not gonna, say everything's wrong or whatever, or that other people are wrong, because I don't. Is Geometra is not something I look into, but I do know, like I said, the Masons believe in sacred algebra, and that means that they do have they believe in strong numeric symbolism. So that's why they use the 6 and they use the 13, and each number has its secret meaning and message behind it. So there's definitely some truth in there, but I don't know if all these YouTubers are understanding a complex method of mathematics that's something that's learned through secrecy and masonry. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed.
People are saying that I should check out a YouTuber, Kinfolk, on Call Me Kingfolk, on Geometra. I'll give it a chance. Whenever I got some free time, I'll check him out and I'll see what he has to offer. Maybe he has an explanation or an understanding. Like I said, there's definitely sacred algebra. So I want people to comprehend that there's definitely sacred algebra, which would be kind of what people are referring to as Geometra. And I've heard of Geometra in the occult world for sure. What I'm saying is that I don't know if people are able to understand it, because it's, like I said, it's a sacred practice that is done by occultists that, usually means that they're in the occult if they understand it.
Another reason why I hate algebra.
Excuse me?
Another reason I have to hate algebra.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
I do know someone though who just talks about the geometry stuff. It was Conscious X. I've been watching some of his videos lately, and he mentions how all these celebrities have these names that that ties into other people and Satanism and stuff, like how this name is equal to this satanic number and stuff.
Like I said, of course, there's sacred algebra and Geometra exists in a sense. I'm not saying it doesn't. Of course, I'm not, because it is is a part of the occult system in the occult world. But what I'm saying is I don't know if they're like, and I have to watch the video. This person showing alliance. We should get you in here for the next live event. He has an Instagram account where he exposes celebrities. He posts the celebrities doing the Masonic all-seeing eye, and he actually follows my channel and he DM'd me. That's how I know about him. He has a whole entire Instagram page where even images that I haven't seen of celebrities. And he just brought up something interesting regarding the drill artist Little Mabo. Showing Alliance, DM me after this, so maybe we can get you a part of the next live event. He said, "What do I think about Little Mabo and his dad owning funeral homes?" This is something great, and I'm happy that you brought this up, because I actually wanted to talk about this, but I didn't want to do another video because I felt that Little Mabo actually liked the fact that I made a video on him. And that's not something that was my goal with making a video on Little Mabo. A lot of people have been tagging me and sending me videos of one of Little Mabo's new freestyles where he literally, or I think it's a song actually, where it seems like he's responding to me, because I made a video calling him an industry plant, but I'm not taking credit because I feel like there's other people that have called him an industry plant as well. But it just seems like the timing was impeccable. Like my video came out, it did a couple thousand, like 40 something thousand views. And then he made a song where he's saying that he's not an industry plant and all this. And then strangely, my whole video was about how I couldn't find information about Little Mabu online. You know, me and D, and I actually spent like an hour just trying to find his name. Me and D, and we could not find his name. There was reports of names, but they were not his real, like it was just not his real name. I would type it in, it will bring someone else up. But then after this video I do about him, after he makes this song saying that he's not an industry plant and basically dissing those who called him an industry plant, his information is all over the internet now. You can find his name, you can find who his father is, and you can find the even the private school he went to in New York. You know, he's definitely rich. He's not from the hood. He's not from the Bronx or any of the areas that he's claiming, or Brooklyn. He's just a kid from the suburbs with a lot of money, and his dad is actually the owner of a funeral company, and it's a multi-millionaire, super wealthy man. And Showing a Line said that, you know, this question was, how do I feel about his father owning the funeral home while his son is pushing the death music? It just shows you how the system works, and it goes in full circle. You understand? This is how they scratch each other's back, even with the artists. It's very interesting to see that Little Marble would respond to me, and then his information will start becoming, you know, present everywhere. People need to start seeing who they're giving their energy to, because this Little Marble kid is definitely someone that I think is a big problem, and someone like Little Marble should not be allowed to come in the industry and disrupt the industry like he did. Like he has support from people. He definitely has support from the younger audience, but they're not even thinking of the fact that he's kind of like, in a way, it's like I'm pretty sure you guys seen the movie Malibu Most Wanted. In a way, that's what I see Little Mabu, and it even is like a play off his name, Little Mabu, Malibu Most Wanted. It's almost the same.
He's definitely another industry puppet. As you can see, this is a child who comes from a very privileged background. He goes to private schools. Just the way he dresses and the stuff that he has and what seems to be his household seems like a very privileged child. And the fact that this is the route that he chooses to take seems like somebody came to him with an ultimatum and gave him this opportunity to do so. Because the way he looks and the music that he's making has no connection. It would be one thing if he grew up in a different environment, so you know he related to this stuff. But you're not going to tell me that a kid who grew up in lower Manhattan relates to the stuff that he is singing, excuse me, to the stuff that he is rapping about. It makes no sense. He has no struggles. He's not from the streets like the other kids that he's choosing to put himself around. This is obviously a stunt from the people that are controlling him around, that are controlling him, that are from the people that are behind him, to continue to push this agenda and broaden their audience, get to everybody that they can. Because I'm pretty sure now the people that he was around, the people that he went to school with, you know, find this cool. They're entertained by this. They like this. That's a whole new group of people they just brought into this.
100%. And they're convincing so many people to follow the kid. He's blowing up. Let me answer this question by, hi, my name is Kristen. She said, please discuss Project Bluebeam, terrifying stuff. I'm definitely gonna look into that one when the next moment I get a chance. I'll look into it. I think it has something to do with something in Canada, if I'm not mistaken. I'll definitely look into it and I'll see what's going on with that. I see here by Wonder Kid, Truth, have you ever thought about making a video on soccer? I said earlier in the live stream that I'll consider definitely making one like on Ronaldo, because I saw Ronaldo doing the Masonic all-seeing eye imagery. So I'm pretty sure if I look into him, I can find, you know, what you guys want me to find, because there's definitely already, with me not even looking into him, it's already been put in my front view. Right. Let me see any other questions. All right. All right, we're gonna be ending the live soon. We're gonna be on here until 3:15. So if you guys have any other questions that you guys want to ask, please ask them now. I made a video on BTS, but it got striked by copyright, so I took it down. I'll work on another one soon. If you guys want to see a video on BTS or Korean pop, K-pop in general, let me know now below.
Congrats, bro, on your first live stream, man. I've been following you since the Astro World thing, and I'm just super happy to be here too. By the way,
No, I appreciate you, AK. I appreciate you for joining me in the conversation. And you spoke more than D and Taco did with me, so I appreciate you for sure. Let me see. Anybody has any other questions before we get out of here? Person says, I don't. How do you feel about Cameron Boyce and King Von? I have no idea who Cameron Boyce is, but King Von, I actually have a video that I was in production. I stopped making it, but I'll continue to make it, and I'll get that video out for you guys because I promised that video to you guys out a while ago. So I can definitely make that King Von video and send it to you guys and put it out for you guys soon.
Cameron Boyce was a Disney actor that then soon died in his sleep.
Um, oh
Well,
yeah. I remember. I just don't remember him by name. I remember him by face. D showed it to me. Yeah, I would look into that and I'll definitely see. He was in the Grown Ups movie. Yeah, I know exactly who he is.
and
Jonathan-
Descendants.
And Descendants, yeah. Jonathan Silver, Alex G. What are you referring to by Alex G? You just keep spamming Alex G. Someone said do one on Snoop Dogg. There's already a video on Snoop Dogg on the channel. You can definitely check that out. But I want to know what you guys felt today about today's live event. Let me know if you guys want me to do more live events. I'm planning on maybe I can do one of these a week, and we can get on here. We can actually have if you guys join the Discord, we're able to add you into the conversation. So when we have another Discord event, we're able to see this how we choose who's going to be on here on the panel to talk with me and the rest of the group and the rest of the crew. So if you want to be up here next for the next live event, you got to join the Discord. I will put the link in the description, and I'll put the link in. The link is already in the description, but I'll put the link in the chat. You guys can join the Discord, and then for the next event, you guys can, we'll have the next event only on Discord sometime soon, and this way we'll pick if you're be chosen to be on the live event for YouTube. Let me see the Madonna clip.
Yeah, there's some people asking where they can find the Madonna clip where they can watch it.
The Madonna clip, all you have to search is Madonna tour promo. Let me double check. Let me look it up so I can give you the exact name. It's called Madonna the Celebration Tour. So if you guys search up Madonna the Celebration Tour, you should be able to find it after this video. It's a very, very strange and disturbing video, and it shows exactly what they do. Jack Black is one I should make a video on. Do you guys want to see a video on Jack Black? I've seen a few of you ask for actors and stuff, and Jack Black is one of those one of those actors. He has never hidden it. AK, you know anything about Black Jack? Have you seen his he I don't know if it was the Grammys or the Oscars, one of those big events. He was in there literally saying about he was telling the audience that they ready to praise Satan or the devil, something in that sense.
Yeah. Damn, it just flashed in my head. Yeah.
Yeah, Jack Black has never hidden it. He even has, when I was younger, it's like in my teens, he had this series on Netflix, and it was about a pick, and he got the pick from the devil, and it made him a superstar. the imagery was beyond. It's all in the open with Jack Black. If you guys want me to do a video on Jack Black, comment Jack Black in the chat now.
Yeah, it seems interesting.
Yeah, he's definitely been open about it. And it's not just him. I was seeing some very interesting imagery when it came from one of my favorite actors as a child as well, was Al Pacino. And I saw a lot of questionable imagery from Al Pacino, one of the most legendary actors to ever exist. So maybe I should just make a whole video regarding actors in general, because I saw Robert De Niro as well. A lot of imagery, a lot of Masonic, all-seeing eye imagery coming from Robert De Niro, coming from Al Pacino. What's his name? Ashton Kutcher. He's an open Freemason. He wears the Mason hat. He was also a member of the Kabbalah. So like these are the acting industry. Denzel Washington, again, full of Masonic imagery, full of open Masonic imagery. These are all actors that I definitely can spend some time. Oh yeah, this is a good picture right here of Jack Black and that video from the Pick of Destiny, if I'm not mistaken. It was the either a movie or a series for sure. Yeah, Will Smith. I see someone comment Will Smith. Definitely. I did a whole video on Will Smith and his family. His entire family littered in Freemason imagery. This person said to talk about Denzel's movie The Fallen. The Rock. Oh yeah, I covered The Rock in my last WWE video briefly. Unfortunately, I didn't want to spend too much time on one specific person, but I definitely covered The Rock in the WWE video, and hopefully that WWE video can come out tomorrow or Tuesday. And if I can't get it approved, I already know what it got copyright claimed for, so I can just delete those part of the videos. But it might, it might cut some time off the video, and it might make the video, it might, suffer, the quality of the video might suffer just a tad because I'm having to remove parts. So I'm hoping that they can just approve the entire video and we can have it out. Yeah, Will Ferrell is another one. We'll look into Will Ferrell. This person said, how about Cole? J. Cole, I've spoken about J. Cole several times on here, and I said what I feel about J. Cole. Kimberly Barnes said, what do you think about Snoop's channel for kids? I didn't even know Snoop Dogg had a channel for kids. That's insane. But I know for a fact that Snoop Dogg has admitted several times to selling out and being a puppet. So that's concerning. It's just the same thing like we're seeing. They're coming after the kids. They're focusing on trying to get to the kids. It's sad, honestly, when you think about it, because the parents aren't even concerned. They're just allowing anybody to entertain their kids nowadays. Anybody to take up their kids' time, not knowing what those kids are actually putting in their brain.
Bro, Snoop Dogg has so many endorsements, like from Corona to what is it? The shoes. What's those shoes called? Skechers. Like everything. Metaverse. Like, come on.
Yeah, no, Snoop is definitely playing the game. He's definitely playing the game. Yeah, D is showing me right now. It says, like it or not, Snoop Dogg's YouTube channel for kids. Oh my God. Wow. Yeah,
I remember seeing one of those.
It's just it shows exactly what the industry is aiming for now. And I don't think the parents are really gonna react, because most parents, they see Snoop Dogg's name and they just love Snoop Dogg. So, oh, Snoop Dogg's doing things for my kids now, this is crazy.
In LA, there's people worship Snoop Dogg. It's crazy. There's like on every block or on most blocks, you'll see like murals of Snoop and Kobe. It's crazy.
That is very, very interesting, because I think that's just pop culture in general. Like, there's just so much worship in the pop culture when it comes to celebrities. People just love to, look at these celebrities like gods. It's something that it's a part of celebrity culture at this point. Because when you think about it, what is the Grammys or the Oscar for? It's just to praise these people. You understand? That's what they put them on stage for. And like, it's like, oh, you have to give them their flowers now. You get my point? They bring them on stage to build them up. And they do that with everything. Like, a good thing to talk about before we go is actually rappers' careers right now. Rappers' careers are fabricated. Like most rappers, it's hard. If you ever notice, there isn't a huge big song that's like taking over the entire industry right now. You know, you see what I'm saying, AK and Vince? Like, there's not a single song that's like the biggest song like 5 or 6 years ago. Like, there was that one song that was just constantly played, and it was everybody was like, for example, like Bodak Yellow or what was a little Uzi Vert song?
EXO tour.
EXO Tour Life. There is no songs like that no more. It's like they drop a little song and it passes real fast, and it's because there's too many fake artists. There's too much fake streams, so the numbers are just inflated. They're computerized, so everything is it can't stick. If I blow up a song and I do it with bots and stuff, it's only gonna last a few days. I'm not gonna continue to pay for bots to continue to stream the song forever. So that's why you see the song fall off. That's why there isn't nothing that's really popping off.
It's a TikTok stream too.
Yeah, of course. The TikTok streams play a large role. Like a lot of artists are making TikTok songs because they're hoping that it'll go viral on TikTok. But that's a recipe for disaster. If any of you guys are upcoming artists in here, I recommend you focus on making great music, not making TikTok music. Because TikTok music is, yeah, it might get you some momentary amount of fame, but it isn't really going to get you much after that. And that's what the industry is right now. The industry is fabricated. The numbers that we're seeing aren't real. So the artists, that's why we're not seeing hit songs, because before a hit song was made by an artist that had like 6 writers. It still is that way, but it's harder to get that hit song now. You know, they've signed too many people, and the formula has become so easy to blow them up. Just buy a bunch of bot streams, get him to perform in a few places, and now he looks like he's a lit rapper. Almost like we saw it with the Kid Buu situation. You guys remember Kid Buu?
Yep.
Huh?
Think so.
Yeah, the Kid Buu was the one that claimed that he was a clone. He went on DJ Vlad. He said that he was a clone rapper, and that was his whole gimmick. He was also lying about his age. He was claiming to be 23, I think, if I'm not mistaken, or 24. And then some girl exposed him for being a 30-something-year-old man that, you know, for some reason wanted to lie about his age. I guess because he felt that he couldn't have a music career. But he actually had money from drop shipping or one of those online money printing machines, I call. He was selling like old toys that he would get on overseas and then sell them at a profit. He made a lot of money, and he tried to use that money to buy himself a career. The only thing is that he wasn't a good musician. He wasn't a good artist. Usually when these artists try to buy themselves careers, if they're a good artist, it'll work. They'll buy the streams, they'll pay to have the big features, they'll pay to perform, and then the record label comes in, signs them, and it's over. Once the record label signs them, they're basically signing themselves over to the record label, becoming property to the label. The label uses them however they want. But that era of artists blowing up individually and taking time and being developed and all this, I don't think that's happening anymore. I think it's all chaotic. I think it's all just the industry creating the artists, seeing which ones stick, spending a bunch of money on streams, and then kicking them to the curb. Whichever ones don't do good, they just kick them to the curb. Whichever ones do great, you see them taking them to the top. You see them spend even more money on them. You see them everywhere, and that's how they create their stars nowadays. But there's just not that many of them sticking. Let me see if I find any more of your guys' questions. I see someone said Wiz Khalifa is a new age Snoop. I wouldn't necessarily say that, because I don't I see Wiz Khalifa, I don't feel like he ever made it to the level of Snoop Dogg. He is definitely a big artist, but I don't think that he's on the same level as Snoop Dogg. This person said, address the African music scene. Thames and Burna Boy is being requested a lot, brother. Of course, I'm definitely going to make a video on those artists specifically and the African music scene. I've been already seeing that it's crossing over, and there's a lot of people that are following it. So it's definitely important to note that if we see it coming over here, and the people that you guys have been requesting, I've did light research on, and it, you know, they're showing the Masonic all-seeing eye symbolism, just like the artists here in America. Let's see. What else do we have before we have? I'm here for 9 more minutes. Any more questions you guys want to ask before we go? Do you
Cousin
think?
was
Do
sorry.
you, sorry. Oh, you can go ahead. I'll answer this one afterwards. What you were gonna say?
Oh, I was gonna say my cousin that lives in Nigeria. She was telling me, and also my stepbrother that was born in Nigeria. He said that when they worship the devil, they call it the old religion. And she was telling me it's normal, it's common. It's not even like a mystery or anything that you would have to think twice about. It's normal
Yeah,
over there.
yeah. It's because if I'm not mistaken, um, African culture was basically stolen by the Egyptians. If I'm not mistaken, is something in that sense. I haven't done a full deep dive into that, but it there's a lot of pagan worship in African culture because it was traditional, a part of the culture, like there is in many other cultures. But because it was, a lot of people think that just because it was something that their ancestors practiced, that it means it was correct. The thing is that these people were doing sacrifices and ritual offerings that we already know now is not something that we should be doing, you know?
Agreed. I mean, I actually experienced that in my own family. It's like it's crazy to see it in your own life. Like what happened during, before, and then after the fact. Years later, it all ties in and makes sense.
Definitely. This person asked me about, what's the question? Just trying to find it and I forgot it. Well, this one said expose John Cena. I spoke about John Cena a bit in the WWE video that's coming out. That should be out on Monday. Natalia, did Glorilla take the oath to get to that level of fame? If you rewind this live at the beginning, that was the first thing we covered, and it definitely does appear like Glorilla took that oath and is definitely on the other side. All right, yeah. Do you think Little Peep sold out? 100%. That was the question when I saw it. I wanted to answer instantly. I 100% think Little Peep sold out. There was just way too much imagery coming from Little Peep that showed exactly what side he was on. It's strange that just like Mac Miller also showed a lot of imagery, and Mac Miller foreshadowed what was going to happen to him. If I'm not mistaken, just like Little Peep. I did a video on Little Peep. I've done so many videos that sometimes I forget. I did a video on Little Peep, and just like Mac Miller and Triple X, Little Peep has a music video where he's showing himself in a casket, foreshadowing what was going to happen. And I definitely think that it's 100% connected. Let me see. Davis said, "Would you suggest we stop going to sport events?" I wouldn't tell you guys what to do with your lives, but I personally wouldn't give my energy or my money to a sporting event because they made it to distract us. Now, if you want to watch sports on the TV occasionally, of course, my message is not to try to, to tell you not what to do and what not to do, but what I want you is not to be consumed by the sports. There's way too much important things in our lives for us to let them distract us with sports, because that's literally what they use it for. That's what has been used since the time of the Romans. They use sports to entertain and distract, the masses, while the kings and the emperors, they did what they wanted, They did it in secrecy and kept the people distracted and kept the people pacified with sports and entertainment. And that's what they're doing today. They're keeping the people pacified, not asking questions, not concerned about who's running who or what's going on. All they care about is who's the hottest celebrity, who's the most famous, who did this and who did what. So definitely, this person said expose Daddy Yankee. I would love to do that. I just don't know how many people on the channel would be interested in seeing that. Bruno Mars is definitely one of those Masonic puppets. There's his songs is all in his songs, is all in his music. You can definitely hear it. Thank you, Hippie Chick. I appreciate you so much. You don't have any questions you want to ask that you want me to answer? Can you do Lupe Fiasco? That's interesting. Lupe Fiasco is interesting to me because I want to say Lupe Fiasco didn't sell his soul because he had a lot of songs where he was like kind of exposing the industry to me. Lamborghini Angels, if I'm not mistaken. If that's a Lupe Fiasco song, correct? Do any of you guys in the chat know? Is that a Lupe Fiasco song? Lamborghini Angels? Or is it a different name of the song? Someone says yes, correct. See that I felt like that song he was 1000% exposing the industry, and I would see Lupe Fiasco. Thank you for bringing that up because I've been looking for an artist that I can say I don't think this person has been a part of the agenda, but I'm not gonna say that quite yet with him. But it's definitely good to see if you guys want to check out that song afterwards. He definitely has that song has a great message in it. Epic 8 Heck said, "Do you think the Masons worship the devil as a fraternity or just certain groups?" That's a great question. And if you ask the Masons if they worship the devil, they're going to tell you no. They're going to say they don't worship the devil. But the thing is that they worship enlightenment, and they worship the light bearer who brought them that enlightenment. It's what the Statue of Liberty represents, enlightenment. It represents Lucifer bringing humanity the light, bringing them to freedom, to spiritual freedom, to moral freedom, really. So what happens with the Masons is when you get to a certain degree in Masonry, you become what they refer to as Masonically enlightened. When they initiate you, the first thing they tell you is now you see the light. You understand? So they incorporated Lucifer into Masonry. That's what Masonry represents. Freeing themselves through Lucifer, freeing themselves through Masonic teachings, and being enlightened as a god. So if your question is if the Masons worship the devil all at once, yes. Fundamentally, what the Masons represent is Satan worship. That's what it is. They worship Lucifer, the light bearer, the one who freed them from moral sin. And it all like we saw with the Red Paradise, with the last event, the last video I just did on the Brazil Carnival. The whole message was a message of Lucifer, of worshiping yourself, doing what thou wilt, and not being concerned of sin. That's exactly what you can get. That's exactly the message you get from the Masons. That's what the Masons are pushing to their people. They're they're showing them how to be enlightened using Lucifer's teachings. I hope that answered your question. Kelsey, if I'm not mistaken, I hope I said your name right. What do you think of MGK? Do a video on him, Salah. MGK is 1000% a Masonic puppet. He's covered in Masonic symbols. He did the Masonic blood ritual. There's a picture of him inside a tub full of blood, and then is a pyramid. You know, the picture's a pyramid. There's also his relationship with, do you have something to say? Go ahead.
Yeah, there's a video of Megan Fox saying that her and him both partake in rituals together.
Yeah, like they say that they drank each other's blood and stuff like that. I did a video on MGK, but like I said, YouTube for some reason doesn't recommend any of my videos. Doesn't recommend all of my videos. It only recommends videos that it thinks you guys want to see. So it is. I see a lot of times that you guys say that I only cover rappers. That's not true. If you go through the channel now, you can see I've covered tons of other topics that just most likely weren't recommended to you because YouTube either doesn't want you to see it or doesn't believe that it's something you're interested in. So MGK, I 100% a puppet. I've done a full video on him. I will say that there's just too much imagery. He does the Masonic all-seeing eye imagery. I think his beef with Eminem was all staged as well. I think it was all staged. Epic 8 Heck, I cannot say exactly what you said, so I'm gonna skip over that part. But his question was, I've been wondering, did you witness since you grew up in the Bronx? Yeah, I was in school when it happened. The situation. I was in a class and they called us out of class. And my mom came and got me. Well, not my mom. My dad came and got me out of the school, and they took me home. And I was concerned the whole day because my mom was in downtown in Manhattan while it was happening, and it was very traumatizing. I'm pretty sure it was traumatizing for just about everybody in New York. But we got to end it here, guys. I appreciate each and every one of you for showing up today. We had 1,000 people strong, over 1,000 people strong the entire time. This was the first one. If you guys want to see more live events, I want you to spam the comments now. Tell me to do, let me know that you guys want to see another live event. We can possibly do one again next week. I also want to remind you guys to join the Discord. We're going to have the Discord link in the description and in the comments. I love all of you guys. I'm praying for all of you, all of your safety. I appreciate each and every one of you. And I'll see you guys in the next one.
Goodbye, everybody.
Peace.